All right, let's take a look here. This is going to be some Platinum Tank gameplay. This is an off-stream replay review from Ratfinder. Let's see here. D.Va, Junker, Queen, Zarya, Hero Pool. How much do you play Overwatch per week? About 14 hours per week. All right, that's pretty solid, assuming that's obviously efficiently spent with conscious practice on rank, warm-up, goals, all that kind of thing. What do you have to get out of the session? A better understanding of the things that I'm doing wrong and what I could be or should be doing instead. What are your long-term, short-term goals? Diamond. I don't think I have a long-term goal. Only continue to improve my play overall. Okay. What do you feel is holding you back from improving? I feel like my game sense and sometimes my awareness in game are my main weaknesses that are holding me back from improving. 8 hours of sleep per night. Lovely. Feel free to roast my gameplay as much as you want. Okay. We will see. And yeah. Okay. So as always, if you have any questions on training time, mentality, or anything else, do not hesitate to message me. I always want to make sure that offer is open, especially for my off-stream replay reviews. So if there's anything that you have any questions about the review, any questions about the gameplay, or want to know how you can best spend your time efficiently when prepping, just shoot me a message anytime. All right, let's take a look here. So this is going to be D.Va Hollywood. Now, D.Va's a really interesting one because D.Va is like one of the old guard when it comes to the whole peeling mindset. Like you look at a lot of the Overwatch 2 tanks, fewer shields, fewer defensive resources, more aggressive and offensive opportunities. But D.Va still's got the Matrix, right? Now, we could talk a lot about how Matrix is mostly used for yourself and all that kind of a thing, but a lot of her design still is about controlling space, proactively, reactively, and finding balance with that, whether it's helping your team or playing selfishly. So that is one of the trickiest things about D.Va, is being able to do that one well. So the way I like to read it is I like to read the enemy composition, and I like to read on whether I'm going to be getting much value trying to peel off my backline versus any of their aggressive characters, or if I'm going to be needing to control space and help my team by being a threat myself. And I think you look at their backline and even their front line to an extent, and you're like, well, I probably need to keep that Widow busy. I probably need to be putting this pressure on that soldier, that Iliari, Kiriko, whatever else. If I focus only on winning the front line trade, can I win it versus an Orisa? That's pretty 50-50, first off. But more importantly, am I going to be allowing the soldier, Iliari, the Widowmaker, and so on to do whatever they want? It's so weird that that's a turret marker, but yeah, because I'm focusing too much on the tank trade. Because D.Va can win tank trades till the cows come home. Like, she's actually not too bad in the tank trade versus most characters, but it's more of a question of, is that the best thing that you should be doing? So let's take a look here. A little bit of Matrix, a little bit of scouting. Let's walk forward. Big thing with D.Va is walking forward. You are a close range character. If you're not leveraging that close range, then you are going to have a hard time, whether you're diving or whether you're peeling. So like right here, don't even spend any time there at all. Now what you can do is you can actually stand here on the corner and shoot Orisa in the head. And we said, don't focus on the tank trade, don't focus on the tank trade. Yeah, but the supports are a little bit far and the DPS are a little bit far. Maybe, this is a D.Va classic, focus on the tank trade, focus on shooting the tank in the face until the Orisa has to back up, because nobody can shoot you but the Orisa, right? Orisa backs up. By the Orisa backing up, she is opened a lane for which you to safely go and contest their high ground and pressure their high ground. You see what I'm saying? Remember, you're playing a character that can win tank trades, that can win DPS trades, but you don't have to focus the backline until the backline presents itself as available. So right now, focus tank. Matrix, missiles, blow her up. Look at this. Why go for backline when tank do trick, right? Now you might be saying, well, yeah, but my Cassidy died. Yeah, but he just fed. It's gonna happen. Unfortunate. I like the idea. You just got javelined out of it. Again, look at this, right? Look at this. This is going to force her fortify. This is going to force her fortify. I would use my micro missiles here. See, I wouldn't even be going for the squishies here. Just shoot and missiles. Shoot and missile her in the face, and then if you need to, disengage, right? This is fine. You do need to disengage. The problem is that because your team's kind of fumbled the bag, you're not necessarily doing the wrong thing, but it feels kind of bad, right? Just keep in mind, though, that you've got two people in spawn. One literally in spawn, one that just got back from spawn, so I wouldn't sweat it too much. Matrix, cover. Now, I'm okay with this because you've allowed, you've kind of let that Orisa walk backwards a little bit. Now Matrix, Matrix, Matrix. Don't peek here. Wait, wait, wait. Missiles, 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 missiles. Missed opportunity. Right here, this is your cup of tea. Now I would be, obviously it could be a little bit hard to track at this range, but when she's this close on top of you, you need to be missiles, matrix, or missiles shooting, lighting her up like a Christmas tree. Because while you're doing this Orisa's trading with her Fortify, but you're on a squishy. The Orisa is kind of too far away to be doing much. Instead, let's slow this down. You don't missiles. You don't really shoot accurately. You matrix. And then you cancel your boosters when really either you need to kill her or force their attention and then disengage and play your life. I would be grabbing Mega even here. I like the angle though. But I don't know how to describe this accurately. Let me think about this. You're not effective at this range. You're not at the HP for this to work. And then you cancel boosters in the open instead of continuing to fly out to cover again. Either you're in somebody's face or you're out. You're in somebody's face or you're out. There is no in between. I don't know why you boosters here, but if you are going to boosters here, you need to fully disengage. I don't think boostering here was 100% necessary. You probably could have gone and grabbed Mega or boosted to Mega first and then come back. But if you are going to boosters here, you need to get out to safety. You cancel your boosters, so you have to use a lot of Matrix just to get to cover. Full cover, don't peek. I would honestly, at this point in time, if you are going to be going from here, I would be matrixing on entry as well, just to make sure that you don't take damage on entry, and then shoot, 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 shoot. Yep, yep. Missiles, 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 missiles. I don't know why you're so hesitant to missiles here. I think like missiles is your 1v1 tool. It is your burst damage and in close range. And it can also be used at the same time as your matrix, right? Everybody knows that. So you're having perfect opportunities to get up close and in the face of these squishies, and times when you should be matrixing and missiling, and you're not really doing either. I do like your attention on squishies. So ask yourself, what is the mistake here? What is a mistake here? Who lives longer? An Orisa contesting backline or a D.Va contesting backline? I want you to ask yourself that question. I'm going to answer that question in about 5 seconds, but pause the video and think about it. The answer is usually Orisa. So then how is that fair? Why is the Orisa allowed to contest backline longer than I'm allowed to contest backline? How is that any way, shape, form fair? The difference is because if Orisa chooses to contest your backline, she generally does not have the mobility to bail if it goes south. You do. You've done your job right here. All you need to do is full matrix and then even fly out if you need to. That's the advantage of mobility, is that you could choose your engagements. Oh, I'm not winning this engage. They're putting like 2 or 3 people on me. I'm going to disengage. Orisa doesn't get to choose. Orisa doesn't get to choose. She goes in here. She uses her Fortify. She's dead. She's dead. You don't have to. So you're going to use your bomb to remech, but you should not have needed to. If you just simply disengage and be like, well, I did my job. I'm going to grab a health pack and do it again in a second. That's the advantage of D.Va. It's not just distracting backlines and diving backlines. It's diving and threatening backlines, right? Big scary monster, and then getting out and doing it again, and then getting out, and then doing it again, and getting out, and doing it again. If you want to actually kill a backline, you're going to go Roadhog, and you're going to go up here, and you're going to go hook and kill people. But you know what? If you make one mistake, you die. If you want to kill backlines, you're going to go Winston and jump in. But if you know what? You make one mistake, you die. D.Va? Nope. You don't have as much teeth when controlling the backline, but it's a lot easier to do it more frequently and go in and out and in and out. And I think that that's been pretty representative of like a big problem, including the micro missiles, of why we've had such a hard time feeling effective. Thank you. Yes, that's what we want to see. Shut up, D.Va. Freaking hate D.Va, man. I don't mind the character, or the hero, but I freaking hate the character. You get what I'm saying? Could be worse. Could be Kiriko. Sure. And this is like perfect, right? Hey, forced all that mess. Now she's using Fortify. Just get out. Right? Okay. Well, actually, her Fortify's expired now. But wait, did she use Fortify and ult at the same time? Ha. Yeah. So that's the thing, is like you have that luxury of like where Orisa has to use her cooldown. You don't have a cooldown. You've got cooldowns on 3.5 second basis. Your matrix fully recharges in like 3 seconds, right? So like just disengage. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. You know, you don't need to disengage here because your HP is fine. But if let's say you wanted to, you have that luxury. Look at that. She's pathetic. Look at that. Laugh in her face. I'm surprised you didn't. Again, you have like this. You don't have like this. You have like this weird thing where you're like, she's low. She's like 1 HP in front of you, and you have missiles, and you're just like, oh yeah, anyway, gotta matrix and look away. It's weird. It's like the missiles, but also like, I don't know. It feels like you get like kind of like flustered in these mid fights, and these assassinations that either should be really easy or at least reasonable. Like you just don't get them, right? Something to kind of keep an eye on. Good patience. Wait, get healed. Reasonable. Now remember, you're getting Widow attention, you're getting Soldier attention. You're also down your missiles. So again, this is the question. If an Orisa gets here, I promise you the Soldier has to drop, or he dies. But you're not an Orisa. You don't quite have that teeth, especially with your level of mechanics, with all due respect. You don't have that level of mechanics right now. That's okay. Shoot, matrix, drop, fly away, then do it again. Stop forcing this beyond. You're overstaying your welcome. You get up and close and personal. This is fine. Look at it. 650 HP, matrix, and missiles. You're late with your missiles. You miss your missiles. But you wait till you've taken 300 armor before you disengage. And that's the problem. You're overstaying your welcome just a little bit. Remember, if the Orisa commits here, she commits. It's over, right? So do it again. Yes, that one was better. Hey, nice job. I mean, it's not that hard, but hey, it was well done. You did a good job. You get credit. See, she's dead now. She's dead. Missiles. Man, you have a... You're allergic to that missile cooldown. At that range, use it. There's a soldier behind you. I don't know if you know that. And this is where I think it's okay to just let the Widow go. Because there's like, you know, Squishy's literally right in front of your face, and there's also a soldier on the flank, so. I mean, I appreciate you trying to control the Widow, but like, you have to go so far. Get her. And remember, you don't have to die for this. You've already done your job. That soldier's now by himself. Do not die for this. Do not die for this. I don't care if you have bomb. Don't die for this. It's not necessary. Now get her. Get her. Missiles. You can even missiles at that range. I just want to see you use the cooldown at this point. Use it, please. I beg. I'm begging you. Thank goodness. Bomb. Run to cover. Ah! Okay, that's okay. A little bit too deep. A lot of our mistakes kind of come back to forcing it and lack of missiles. Good. Just disengage, right? Nice. That was some nice tracking there. Now that missile was not quite as good. Obviously, if you know that she'd had shift, that's something that you may take some time to get used to. Missiles, missiles, missiles. Maybe we just didn't need him. She doesn't know, chat. He doesn't know either. So she doesn't know about the spawn thing. And this guy doesn't know he's Sonicked. Okay, we gotta watch this. That's the best thing I've watched all day. Alrighty. Well, good job. Good awareness of, you know, checking what's going on behind you. I respect it. Now use that high ground. Use that high ground, because these tanks and squishies are close. So you start up here. Heck, you can even just leapfrog right over that Orisa's head. If you get the opportunity to wrap around, this is another opportunity as well to go for backline. You've got options here. You can shoot tank line. Now you have to be careful about what you're doing right now though, because it's a little bit of a 1v5, right? Where you know, most of your DPS and tanks aren't peeking this, or supports aren't peeking this. So it's okay to shoot tank if you're close and your team is peeking with you. But right now they're not peeking, so you're gonna kind of lose that HP trade. You see that? So a little bit unfortunate that we didn't know the DPS was on the flank. I definitely think that that's something that you could do a better job of in the future. And then here, not enough matrix on the entry, so we take a lot of damage, and ultimately it's just too far away. Yeah, so remember, this is why positioning is so important as D.Va. This positioning screams, I'm gonna focus on tank, and I'm just gonna shoot what's in front of me. You didn't know the soldier on the flank, you were not paying attention to what was going on around you, so it's just, you're kind of screwed, okay? So what I wanna see here is either hold this position and win the tank trade, or pay better attention to what's going on around you on the flank so that you can react a little bit faster. I think that would be the best way of responding to the situation here. Setting up ahead of time where the enemy DPS and supports are going to be, and then controlling that space. This is too far. Find a squishy. Yes, yes. Winnable? I think this bomb is reasonable. Let's go. Shooter, shooter, shooter. Don't have to force this. You see, that's the problem we're seeing here. Is you force her out, your missiles are a little late. Obviously, you eat full squishies as well, and you eat a headshot, but then you force it. Forcing her out is tanking. Getting the kill immediately is not necessary for you to tank properly. I want to see if there's any more D.Va before we jump on the Zarya train. Let's watch a little bit more. Where's that backline? Where's their DPS? This is fine, but is there another? But right at the same time, there's Reaper, Soldier, and Orisa we could be going for as well. Now, Orisa, I understand controlling backline versus shooting Orisa is probably better, but like you didn't even have any idea, and we're not even trying to track where anybody but the backline was. Diving backline is fine, but if the enemy team is going hyper aggressive, then just punish their aggression. That's the nice thing about D.Va. You can dive backline, but you can also just stop them from diving your backline. So if this soldier takes his high ground off angle, this is easier value than what you're doing. This is easier value than what you're doing. The only time you need to be diving backline is if the enemy DPS or supports aren't doing anything and are just clumped up in a big hump. So yes, you're zoning backline here. It's fine, but you could just be killing soldier. Remember, your job is to either go aggressive yourself or stop the enemy team from going aggressive. And right now, you're focusing on going aggressive yourself when the enemy team is going very aggressive, and that's something that you can punish. Like here, you could dive Kiriko, you could dive Soldier, but if the Sombra's killing your backline or hacking your backline, start by getting rid of her first. Sombra's out. Shoot the Orisa. Shoot her, shoot her, shoot her. Use the missiles on her even. Yeah, see, this is the thing, is I think you're a little bit too, I'm glad I watched more of this D.Va. I think you're a little bit too focused only on staging for backline, but remember, you've kind of already done your job. These backliners are now back here. So you've struggled to regenerate HP, so fly back to your team, get healing, clear out the Sombra, clear out this Orisa, then go for backline afterwards. And look at what ends up happening. You're on the backline here, but you're not even on the backline. You see this? You're not even really on the backline. And then look what you died to. Sombra on the backline, Soldier going aggressive. You see it? So this is not, oh, you need to be peeling more. Well, maybe. Again, is the enemy team doing anything aggressive? If yes, then yes, you should be peeling more. If no, then you need to be going more aggressive. The problem for you is that you're only focusing on going aggressive. You're not going very, and then when you do go aggressive, you overstay your welcome instead of baiting attention, then getting out. Baiting attention, then getting out. So the two things I'd say for your D.Va, three things actually. Keep an eye on the micro missiles as the little veto. Number two, go aggressive on backline if the enemy squishies are not going aggressive or the enemy tank is not going aggressive. If they're going aggressive, punish their aggression. If they are not going aggressive or taking off angles and then you need to go set up in the backline. Like remember the first fight here, you needed to fly in high ground because they're all clumped up in one giant spot, right? Punish them on high ground first. But then once they've dropped, there's no point for you to stay here any longer unless you're going to keep on going. And if you don't have the HP to keep on going, then you need to go back to your team. Last thing I would say is just when you do go aggressive, don't force the kill if the kill isn't there. Don't die for it if it fails. Don't use all of your matrix and all of your HP and then die instead of just baiting attention and then getting out again. I hope that makes sense. It's a little bit more, it's hard to put into words exactly. And that's the biggest challenge with D.Va is it's a lot of it is instinctual. And so I think for you, it's going to be more about trying to identify whether the enemy team is doing something aggressive that you can punish. If the answer is no, then set up your own aggression. And I think that's the simplest thought flow chart that I could create for you. Let's take a look at some Zarya. Now, Zarya is also kind of similar to that, right? Where you can bubble off, peel off aggression. If you have issues with Zarya, with D.Va, you're going to have issues with Zarya with the same thing. Where you could be very selfish as Zarya, but like let's say you're bubbling yourself over and over again while they're diving your backline, you're trolling. So let's see if we have that same issue. Maybe we don't. Like I see nothing but everybody in front of my screen. There is nobody taking an angle, nobody punishing my team, none of my team going in aggressive. So of course you bubble yourself. Just don't die for it. Shoot him out, shoot him out, shoot him out, shoot him out, shoot him out. Yes. Thank you. Especially because he's on an angle, right? That's the guy that's gonna kill your team. Did she need it? Maybe, maybe not. Understandable. Does anybody need that bubble? See, stop. See, this is the problem right here. You have a nano boosted Orisa running it down into your backline, and you're not even looking at her. Remember, you can help your team with your bubbles here. This is the off tank mindset where it's not always selfish value here, right? What if you bubbled your Symmetra, she lives versus the Orisa, and then the Orisa dies because she gets bubbled, right? You're not even thinking about that. There's nobody, look at your screen. There is nobody on the enemy team going aggressive other than this Orisa. So peel her off, right? So you can kind of see that problem that you had with your D.Va also being a problem with your Zarya. Thank you, great bubble. Again, you think aggressively when your team isn't being aggressed on. Again here, obviously you don't have a bubble, so I'm fine down with you trading backlines. But like, let's say you had a bubble, would you bubble to peel? Obviously the answer is yes. So here I don't have as much of a problem with it because you didn't have a bubble to peel with. Does that make sense? So you had no way of helping your team. It'd be the equivalent of like if you had no matrix, how would you peel off your backline, right? I hope that logic makes sense to you. I think it's really important that that thought process is kind of thought through. That thought process is thought through. One of the statements of all time. Again, there's Genji, there's Orisa. Shooter, shooter, shooter. Right. She's being aggressive on. What you were doing with D.Va is you would see this and you'd be like, hey, I'm gonna go shoot backline. No, stop. Backline's not doing anything. She's doing something. Help her first, right? That's kind of like the problem that you were making with D.Va. That was a good bubble though. And now she dies for it, right? You see that? It's not just about being a helper, but being a helper that punishes. And now there's nobody else but Soldier going aggressive that you know of anyway. I don't know if you know this, but that's very important. A little bit early in the bubble. A little bit spooky here. Gotta be careful. Okay. Most of the time with D.Va and Zarya, you will be matrixing / bubbling yourself. Most of the time. But it's those crucial times when your team is being dove or backline's going in or somebody's getting pressured. If you miss those opportunities because you're only tunneling on killing backline, you're trolling. A little bit of an early bubble there again. Let yourself take a little bit more damage. Force them to shoot you. It's okay. I'd rather you be at 0 charge and have 2 bubbles when the fight starts, like now. Because, I mean, ultimately, you're only at 12 charge anyway. Okay, so, chat. Oh my gosh. Old habits die hard. Ask yourself, who should we be shooting right now? Who should we be pressuring right now? Right? Not just about our bubbles, right? It's also about who we're shooting. Who's going aggressive right now? Well, it's Soldier. Shoot Soldier. We might even need to drop to pressure the Soldier out. This guy cannot be allowed to hold this position. It cannot be allowed. Because he will kill our team off of them. And sure enough, there it is. Bubbles, again, are not particularly useful. You're not actually taking damage when you're using them. Would rather you have 0 charge and actually have an opportunity to push. Again, check it. Talk about awareness, right? Can you bubble off a Hanzo shot? Not really, no. But you can shoot the Hanzo. Can you bubble off a Soldier spamming your backline? Nah, not really, right? But you could shoot the Soldier. I appreciate that you're zoning backline at the same time, but I'm not convinced that this backline is a threat right now. Shoot the threat first. So what's happening a lot of the time is you're trading backlines instead of shooting somebody that's just actively feeding on the enemy team if you even look at them. If you were Reinhardt, what could you do to the Hanzo on high ground? So what'd you do? Control backline. If you were Sigma, what could you do with the Hanzo on high ground? Shoot him, shield him, right? If you were D.Va, fly him, force him back to his team. If you were Winston, maybe jump him, or if you can't jump him, jump and force the backline and hope that your team can deal with the Hanzo. The thing with Zarya and D.Va though, is you have tools to deal with things like this. You have bubbles. You have matrices. Ooh, that's a dirty sleep, actually. Were you Sonicked? No, she's just cracked. By the way, one of the things about Zarya, play it if you want to play it. Don't play it to counterpick all the time, because you notice that you're like dealing well with the Orisa, but the Orisa isn't the problem. It's actually the DPS that's the problem. Good bubble. Now punish. Is there anybody else that's available? No, they're all right in front of me, so I bubble myself. Now, priority here is if you can, get the Soldier off of top. I don't know if you can, though. Shoot the Orisa because she's what's in front of you. Shoot the Hanzo because she's what's in front of you. Hanzo's out. Now the real question is are you guys going to die the DPS and high ground that you cannot reach? Grab is fine. I don't know if there's enough follow-up. Yeah, the grab was in theory fine, but probably a little too far. If the backline is this far away, remember, they're not a threat. Shoot what's in front of you. Shoot the Orisa. Don't overchase. It's kind of similar to what you're doing on D.Va. So I said the grab was fine. I honestly, no, it really wasn't fine. That's my bad. Really here, once that backline's all the way out and no longer accessible, just shoot the Orisa. You're still forcing backline a little too hard. I understand that this is hard. Like, one of the biggest tank mistakes is to only focus on the tank line trade. But you focus DPS and supports when DPS and supports are accessible. Your whole mentality is to hard go for backline regardless of their positioning, regardless of what the rest of the enemy team is doing. This is good, right? Why? Because focusing Orisa wasn't going to change anything there. There's an Ana right in front of you. Do we go back to D.Va here? No, we stay in Zarya. Let's finish this out here. There's Hanzo. Yes, shoot the Hanzo. Now shoot the Orisa, but stop shooting the Orisa now. Why? Because the Orisa is going aggressive, but so are these guys. In fact, it'd be more important for you to be shooting the backline now. Backline backs away, disengages. Now shoot the Orisa. Yes. Yes. Now they're out. Now you can either chase them a little bit more, or you could just shoot the Orisa and peel off your Ashe. This is, again, the problem with Zarya. Is like you have really no way to stop this from happening. The only thing that you can do is kill people better than he is. But because you don't have good positioning, because you don't have mobility, it's not going to be really possible. I would keep an eye on my backline here. Yeah, it's not good enough. I mean, that's pretty much it. Is that when we go D.Va? Do we go D.Va? No, we stay for one more fight. Back, 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 back. You're down one. Big grab. Come on. Force him out. Right. I would be careful here. You're pushing beyond your team. You're forcing backline a little bit here. Be careful. Careful. Remember, this can work because you did get close to them, but it's a little far. Be careful. You see how difficult and uncomfortable that was because of how far you had to go? I think a lot of your problems come down to just forcing hard backline. Forcing hard backline. Let's see how we do in the defense here. Let's just finish up the VOD. Nice. Unfortunate, your Torbjorn feeds a little bit. You could have maybe held him. Be aware of that soldier on the flank, though. Be aware of that soldier on the flank. There's a soldier on the flank again. You need to push that guy out. I know you're thinking you're controlling the backline from rotating, but look at your team's positioning. They don't want to hold this space. They want to hold this space. So you're pushed out beyond your team. So this doesn't really matter right now. Good, get rid of him. Now worry about the soldier. Now worry about the Hanzo if you can. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's too late. I mean, this is Zarya's weakness, right? You can't reach this. Oof. Get him, get him, get him, get him, get him. I think this fight's lost. So I am really glad we finished out this VOD because I think your problems with Zarya and D.Va are very similar. I think you force aggression on the enemy team when the enemy team is actively taking aggression on you. In other words, they're setting up angles and flanks and they're pushing you and they're pushing high ground, they're pushing the back line, their wrist is frontlining, the soldiers on the flank, and you're still chasing that on way over there, right? When there's literally people right next to you that you can pressure. You can pressure them with your matrix, you can pressure them with their bubbles, you can peel off your team, you can shoot them. The goal is to kill squishies, but remember, if the squishies are presenting themselves to you because they're taking aggressive positions, shoot those squishies. Or if it's the tank, shoot the tank to force the squishies to come forward, then shoot the squishies. A lot of what your mistake is this constantly pursuing not just the squishies, but chasing the squishies that are far away in the back line, instead of taking the opportunity to win the cooldown trades in the front lane, to win the cooldown trades, to punish the enemy team taking aggression, and then as the fight evolves, going for squishies. Like, it feels like you're reaching. It feels like you're reaching would be the best way of putting it. If that makes sense, let me know. If it doesn't make sense, let me know. I'll be happy to explain it a little bit more in detail, maybe with some more examples. I think your biggest goal with both Zarya and D.Va, Zarya, obviously some concerns with the bubbles not really actively taking damage, some micro missiles, things with D.Va. But the big thing is just where the enemy team putting their resources. Are they on the flank? Are they in the front line? And then deciding what to do accordingly. And don't hard force dives and backline all the time. Take what's available. Hope that makes sense. And I'll chat with you later.